silence is for you, Mayor.
It's on the money, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived for this call emergency meeting. I'm going to ask that all rise, and I'm going to ask Councilman Johnson to give the invocation.
Our Father, once again we come before you. We ask you to look down upon us. We ask you to hear our voices today, God. We ask you for wisdom and knowledge that we make the right decisions to take care and to help our people. We ask you because our help is in you today. We know, Lord, that you can take us through, and you will take us through all things because our help and dependence is on you. We ask you to bless those that are sick and bereaved. These blessings we ask, and our soldiers that's on the battlefield. This I ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Now let's pledge allegiance to the flag of our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a special emergency call meeting, therefore there's no other item but what we've called it for that can be brought up or discussed. So we'll get busy. I'm going to ask first of all, Mr. Attorney, you were given an assignment. I think you've completed it. Could you give us a report?
Okay. Based on the discussion at the meeting this morning of what council was leaning towards doing, I was instructed to draft a ordinance, and using as a guide for that was the recommended ordinance from the Georgia Municipal Association, which provided a standard type form that covers a lot of instances, not all instances, but it was recommended it be used as a guide to municipalities that were enacting the ordinance pursuant to the governor's executive order. I'm going to read the ordinance now. I'm going to leave off the preamble, the whereases, which gives a history and explanation of why we're in this situation that we are referring to, the declaration of the pandemic, etc., and get to the meat of the coconut, so to speak. After the whereas, it says, now therefore it is hereby declared that a local state of emergency exists within the city of Hazlehurst and shall continue until the conditions requiring this declaration are abated. Therefore, it is ordered and ordained by the authority of the City Council of the City of Hazlehurst as follows. Section 1, findings of fact, the purposes of describing the circumstances which warrant the adoption of an emergency health ordinance. The governing authority of the city hereby adopts and makes the findings included in the whereas clauses as findings of fact. Section 2, declaration of public health state of emergency. The City Council hereby declares a public health state of emergency within the city because of the proliferation of COVID-19 in the United States and the state of Georgia, which will remain in force and effect until April 15, 2020, unless declared terminated sooner by the City Council. Section 3, public gatherings on city property. For the duration of the declared emergency, there shall be no public gatherings on any property owned or controlled by the city. To avoid confusion, the following definition shall apply under this section. Public gathering shall mean a group of people other than members of an immediate family. Immediate family shall mean a spouse, parent, child, stepchildren, or siblings. Property owned or controlled by the city shall include any park, public square, public space, playground, recreational area, or similar place of public gathering. But nothing herein shall prohibit individuals or immediate families from using sidewalks or designated pedestrian areas or parks for walking or other exercise if they are not participating in a public gathering. Section 4, utility services. For the duration of the declared emergency, the city will not disconnect any public utility service provided by the city on account of non-payment. After the conclusion of the declared emergency, persons will have a period of 60 days to make such payments before service may be discontinued. Section 5, classification of city services. For the duration of the declared emergency, the City Council shall be vested with the following discretion and authority, to wit: A, to categorize city services as either required or discretionary, and to periodically review and modify such categories. B, to assign specific employees to required or discretionary services, and to periodically review and modify such assignments. C, to use discretion to permit employees to telework. D, to temporarily suspend the provisions of discretionary services and to direct employees who provide the discretionary services not to report to work until such time as the service suspension is lifted or until such time as the city council redirects the employees to other services. D, I had a typograph here, there's two C's that'll be changed to D, and D will be changed to E. To contract for and expend non-budgeted sums and services as may in its discretion be required to meet the demands upon government and services of the city for the duration of the declared emergency, including therein authority to spend such sums from the reserves of the city. Then, F, to maintain to the best of the ability of the resources of the city the provision of essential services, which shall include but not be limited to public safety, public works, healthcare, and building permits. Section 6, tolling of deadlines. Any deadlines for the purchasing or obtaining by persons or businesses of occupation tax certificates, permits, or similar civil approvals mandated by the city code shall be tolled for the duration of the emergency as established herein and for 15 days thereafter. Such person or business shall obtain necessary permissions required by law, but deadlines set by the city code are tolled for the duration of the emergency as established herein and for 15 days thereafter. Section 7, eating establishments. Restaurants and other eating and dining establishments where food is served must cease offering dine-in services, but may continue preparing and offering food to customers via delivery, drive-through, or take-out services. Customers shall not be allowed into the premises of dining establishments. Take-out services shall mean the business establishment shall take the order and deliver the food at the door to customers. Patrons, employees, and contractors of the establishments should strive to maintain at least 6 feet of personal distance between themselves and others. If a restaurant is licensed to sell beer and wine for on-premise consumption, such restaurant during the effective dates of this ordinance only shall be authorized to sell unopened bottles or cans of beer or wine for takeout consumption off premises. Section 8, closure of certain businesses. Gyms, fitness centers, pools, social clubs, amusement facilities, bowling alleys, pool halls, theaters, massage parlors, nail salons, and any other business facility used for an activity that involves prolonged physical proximity of individuals, and any facility used for entertainment, social, grooming, or general health and well-being purposes must close and remain closed for the duration of this emergency. Section 9, personal distances for other businesses. All other establishments not covered in Section 7 or 8 of this ordinance, including but not limited to grocery stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, and other businesses which do not facilitate prolonged physical proximity of individuals, may remain open during the emergency, provided such businesses, A, post signage identical to or similar in substance and content to Exhibit A attached hereto on the entrance door to the business, and in any break room for employees, informing all persons to maintain at least 6 feet of personal distance between themselves and others. And B, certify to the city that its employees have a 6-foot workspace from any other employee's workspace. Nothing in this ordinance, however, prohibits the gathering of individuals for the purposes of carrying on businesses certified as essential by the Georgia Emergency Management Agency pursuant to OCGA Section 38-358. The provision of medical or health services or critical infrastructure businesses and employees as designated by the governor or identified by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency as may be found in the Memorandum on Identification of Essential Critical Infrastructure Workers during COVID-19 response or subsequent document. Section 10, public and private gatherings. All public and private gatherings of more than 10 people occurring outside of a household or living unit are prohibited. This prohibition applies to parties, funerals, weddings, and church gatherings. Section 11, curfew. A curfew is imposed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. effective as of the date this ordinance goes into effect. Residents unless exempt individuals as defined herein shall remain in their homes or on their property during the curfew period. Exempt individuals include those individuals engaged in the provision of designated essential services such as 1, fire, 2, law enforcement, 3, medical and hospital services including veterinary services, 4, military services, 5, utility emergency repairs, 6, persons seeking emergency medical services or hospital services and those persons assisting such persons, 7, individuals traveling to and from their jobs or their property, and persons traveling to medical facilities. 8, individuals engaged in the delivery of food, medicine, medical supplies, fuel, including but not limited to the restocking of grocery stores, pharmacies, and convenience stores. 9, news media employees. 10, designated employees or agents of businesses designated by the Georgia Emergency Management Agency as essential pursuant to OCGA Section 38-358. 11, persons providing necessary care of companion animals in the custody and care of an animal shelter, boarding facility, or kennel, or persons walking personal animals. And 12, critical infrastructure businesses and employees as designated by the governor or identified by U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency, as may be found in memorandum on identification of essential critical infrastructure workers during COVID-19 response or subsequent document. Section 12, violation of this ordinance may be issued citations by the Hazlehurst Police Department, and any offender found guilty of willful violation may be punished by a fine up to $500 and a jail sentence up to 90 days. Section 13, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with the provisions of this declaration are hereby suspended during the effective dates of this declaration or any extension thereof, and the terms and provisions of this declaration shall prevail. This ordinance, after adoption by the council, shall become effective at 8 a.m., and I think it should have been Friday, March the 26th, instead of Thursday as written here. Ordained and resolved by majority vote of the City Council this 25th day of March 2020. That is the proposed resolution. Of course, y'all have not voted on it yet.
Handle that right now. Okay, I entertain a motion that we adopt the proposed resolution that the attorney has just read.
I make a motion that we adopt the ordinance.
Mr. Bloodworth has made a motion that we adopt the resolution, and it's seconded by Mrs. Leggett. Now then, are there any discussions?
So the curfew don't come in effect until tomorrow night, and not tonight.
Friday. Friday.
Friday, I think, is what
Friday,
we're
it's
going to put
a
this.
typographical error there.
Okay, all
Friday.
right, all right.
Then we get it all out tomorrow, we can give them that during the day to, find out what all they are supposed to do, and by that time, it will become in effect.
Right,
Any
okay.
other discussion?
Yes, for some point of clarity too, in section 10, the public gatherings and such not, we had some misinformation that was disseminated through the county as we was reading or listening to our meeting earlier today. And just a point to make that we are not closing church businesses, that we are simply redesigning that business so that we can keep our public protected.
In other words, at our church, we've already now, we have all of ours on video so that you can watch all of our service complete on video. Another church out in the county that's got a lot of open space, we used to take and drive our cars to the movie theater. Now they've got it out there with the car, they can turn on the radio in the car and drive up, and they're all in the community, they're in their individual cars. There's all sorts of unique ways to continue to worship, and all of us are Christian men and women, and we certainly realize that God is in control, but He also expects us to be intelligent people and not expose ourselves foolishly, and so that's the reason this is in it. But yes, church worship, in fact, individuals can maybe and should perhaps make even more prevalent their personal prayers for not only their own health and their family, but for the community as well. And we're not terminating any worship of the Almighty God, but only trying to continue to perform and do the best thing in the interest of our community. Any other discussion?
Well, now, our South Georgia District Overseer asked us to cease services and give them at least 15 days. So,
All right, so
that will be through this weekend.
Yeah. All right, well, now, with this, they'll have to go a little bit longer, to the 15th,
Right.
to the 15th.
It's 3 Sundays, basically, is what you're
We're in
looking
the
at.
county, they've adopted the same thing, right?
Not necessarily.
Not yet.
Our church is in the county.
Yeah. All right, well, you'll have to, this, we can only enforce this within our corporate limits. Of course, I want you to understand now too, this is, a lot of this, the governor has already,
Right.
this is, it's a state requirement as well, but you can check in for the difference between the two. Anything else?
Mayor,
Yes,
y'all do need to vote to enter into a state of emergency.
yeah,
That's an ordinance.
yes.
You do have, they also have to vote to enter into a state of emergency as well.
And you've got a joint resolution for us, ready for us?
No, there's not gonna be joint
It
because
didn't.
the city and county are gonna do two different things, so there will be one for the county.
Okay, the reason I was waiting on that, I thought we had a joint resolution coming.
No, sir. They're gonna do something different to begin with than the city's doing, so they're gonna do a state of emergency, and then we'll do one for the city.
What does GMA need in that regard? Just declaring a state of emergency?
Yeah, there's actually a format that we can do that is a state of emergency, and it's
Unless you got it now, we can't do it unless we do a general resolution that we declare a state of emergency.
I don't have it with me, no, I don't.
But what I'm saying is all you have to do is declare a state of emergency, or is there
That's all we
conditions
do.
that attached to that?
No.
Then they can pass an ordinance tonight, a
Right.
resolution declaring a general state of emergency as a result of the COVID-19 virus.
And you attach this ordinance to that, and that'll go up to Jim.
Yeah, with this, yours will be a separate ordinance. Or we can add, why don't we do this?
Security.
Can we,
Let me
Motion is already in this
Well,
resolution.
we said that, now therefore it is hereby declared that a local state of emergency
That's
exists.
covered.
Is that not sufficient?
Well, yeah, I think we can probably send that up. No, it's supposed to be, you can add ordinances to a state of emergency, but you have to declare that. It's
Well,
supposed to be
we
declared
have, we
separate
said,
when we do that.
we
Says that
do,
in
we give the background and say, now therefore it's hereby declared that a local state of emergency exists within the city. And then that we enact what the action's gonna be.
Well, if your initial whereas and therefore don't work with what we gotta have, I think it's okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion that we declare a state of emergency for the COVID-19.
Wait a minute, we got
You got-
a motion on the floor.
I think you call for, you get it.
You can call for a split, motion to, have that come first. It's not a strike and add, but it just, splits the motion.
Why don't we just go ahead and vote on this motion and do a new motion on it?
That works.
Declaring the state of emergency.
Unless they have to come, unless that has to come first, I don't know.
But it states in this resolution that it's a declaration of a state of emergency.
It is.
All right, here's one of the two things that I think was, you're the parliamentarian, and you're talking, attorney sitting here. The best thing that we can do is to withdraw this motion. I think we can legally, as best I understand, withdraw this motion at the time. Apparently we've got the cart ahead of the horse. Is it
Well,
legal?
I disagree. This declares a state of emergency.
Okay, well, you got it covered both, and if you, I'm satisfied with that.
Can I look at, because I didn't look at it today, so.
If we've got it covered here, we don't have a cart ahead of the horse.
Back at the top.
Gets covered in the resolution.
Should be a state of emergency.
It says, about the
It's
second
there,
item,
so
whereas
it
the
should have
governor of
both
the state
of
of
them.
Georgia.
The very heading of it,
Yeah.
the declaration of a state of emergency
Yeah.
arise because of COVID.
You can keep that.
It should be.
Okay.
And also, now, turn over,
Okay, you're fine.
wait a minute, wait a minute, not only that, we got a double whammy at it. Come here,
That's all we got
come right
now.
here, you can see this. In section 2, it's the main heading, declaration of public health emergency. The city council hereby declares a public health state of emergency within the city of Hazelburg.
Don't go there.
We've got a double barrel shotgun here, folks.
Well,
You stated it.
you've got a declaration of a health emergency by the governor, and we're just going, the city and county's just gonna do a declaration, an emergency declaration, basically, and then that's sufficient right there.
Okay.
Okay, after all that, now then, for goodness sakes, let's quit, beating this horse to death unless somebody's got something real urgent.
Can I
Yes, sir.
just have fun?
Yes, sir.
I understand, what's going on and everything, but extending that all the way to April 15th for some of our small businesses is just simply going to bankrupt them. I know like Douglas, theirs mainly, they had some square footage things, but basically it turns out to be 25% of your occupational capacity is what they allow retail and non-retail businesses to meet as long as the people inside stood 6 feet apart or whatever. So like in our escape room, you can have 6 people come in, they can still be 6 feet apart. The theater can still have 30 people in, still 6 feet apart. But if it shuts down April 15th, it's bankrupt, and you're gonna have a lot of economic catastrophe for a city that's already financially absolutely strapped. And there's a lot of our small businesses, including here at Simply, is not going to come back. And I know we're deciding between essential and non-essential, but I could also say that Dairy Queen, fast food, and McDonald's is not essential like Piggly Wiggly is for groceries, because there's two completely different animals there. And I think going all the way 3 weeks from now, when we've already had 2 weeks of this, is actually going to kill most small businesses.
Well, it should the situation move so that the circumstances are better, we can terminate this resolution at any time.
Right.
And I hope to the good Lord that we can terminate it sooner. But with the looks of things, I don't think it's gonna happen now. Even some of our mom and pop restaurants that don't have a drive-through, and we've also, we hashed this over this morning, people going inside and placing their orders. If you've got that many people going in and out of that door and affecting them and their employees, the doorknobs and the counter and
Yes,
the rest of it. So we decided that even then, they've got waitresses in there, have to wait on the table, that waitress can go to the door and deliver it and keep, we're doing everything we can. Let me give you this example that we've been given, that a person, and this may not be just exactly right, but a person that was infested with the virus attended a family funeral. And from that family funeral, there was a big family, a group of friends there. From that one occurrence at that funeral, numerous people were infected. So one person can do a tremendous amount of damage. So we've just got to hear, our responsibility is we love our businesses. You're going to get some special help too, by the way. They've already passed the bill. They passed it already this afternoon. You're going to get some help to help you with your business. You're going to get some individual help, personally. And so let's take and try this. And we don't have a case here now. So
No,
for
we
goodness
don't.
sakes, what we're trying to do is see that we don't have a case. Let's try it and see how we
Be
go.
one of the cities that don't.
That's right. So let's try it and let's suffer through it, and we'll help you through that, sir. I'm very familiar with your circumstances.
Yeah, I know, it's even the help they give is going to come too late, so.
Now, over at Two Brothers, you can call your order in. They fix your plate just like they normally do, and they're waiting at the door, till you pull up and they take it to you.
That's right.
Which is great, unless the person at Burger King is sick already and passing it to everybody that comes through the drive-through. Risk is a fact of life, and I think we have a good measure, but I think a more measured response like others does is better. And they have active cases there.
Any other discussion?
If you'll tell me how to do, the part that you've got with your technology, being that I'm not technology savvy, I will, rent a movie, to be shown at the house. That'll be for my grandchildren, that I'll, do that. I hope more people will do that.
Any further discussion? Hearing not a call for the vote, all in favor, I'm going to ask for a show of hands in this, please, and we'll raise our left hand this time.
Go ahead and read it.
You raise your right one? Okay, all right. Raise your right hand. It's unanimous. The motion's carried. Let's try this, and we at City Hall, and I love to help people. If businesses in this community will come to me as the mayor of this city, I will do everything I can to lend all the help I can to any struggling business that this is causing problems with. With that said, I entertain a motion, Mr. Johnson.
I offer motion.
Second.
Mr. Johnson moves that we go home, and Mr. Bloodworth is seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we're going home.